are fantastic. Thank you so much for having us. I'm excited to... Thanks. You guys have been here since like 6, so... They got the comfy seats. This is what happens. Good for you guys. Guys, there's a lady at my work who doesn't like babies. Okay, phew. I was waiting to see how many of you were going to go and clutch your pearls before I told you it's me. I don't like babies. I don't like babies because they have a self-destruct button on the back of their head. There's a little soft spot. If you touch it, they break. It scares me. I don't like that. Somebody brought their amateur human into the office. And that's how I discovered that I no longer have an affinity for babies. And also didn't understand why you would bring a baby to the office, right? Because that seems weird. But then I found out that the baby's name was Barbara. Right? So she was obviously there for a job interview. Who names a baby Barbara? Right? Barbara works in human resources. That's why she was there. That baby's name was Barbara. She's married to Gary. Also not a baby name. I had baby. I have an empty nest. Do we have any empty nesters? Okay. Do y'all know what it is? Everybody knows what an empty nest is, right? Well, I have to ask you, I did a show at a kombuchery in Portland. Just a sea of 20-year-olds looking at me with confusion. So I explained an empty nest is a person who has had children who have left home. Grown children have gone away from home. And again, just a sea of confusion. Because they were like, wait, we leave? Yes, my babies. Yeah, so I have an empty nest. I raised 2 boys. I have he just turned 21. Hasn't been sober for 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm just kidding. He's great. He's actually an awesome kid. He's really smart, really funny, really cool kid. He's a junior at the University of Maine at Farmington. Yeah. Go Beavers! Oh, yeah. That's their mascot. The Regal Beaver is the mascot of the University of Maine at Farmington. Did I have a good time in their bookstore? Oh, they've got the beaver merch, you guys. They've got water bottles so you can keep your beaver hydrated. Yep. Blankets so you can keep your beaver warm. Very important. They have beaver scented candles. They smell like pine. Yeah. In case you were worried, because I know I fucking was. Popped the lid off that sucker, and I was like, oh, it's okay. It's just trees. My personal favorite thing that they have in the bookstore at the University of Maine at Farmington is the t-shirt that reads, a clean beaver is a healthy beaver. Oh, yes, it is. That is where my tuition money is going. University of Maine at Farmington. It's good. That's the 21-year-old. He's on a good path. I'm excited for him. He's going to do great things. The 45-year-old that I have been raising for the last 20-plus years, I'm not so sure. He's moved in with his 22-year-old girlfriend, and our divorce is now final. So. That's usually met with groans, which I think is the right response. I think it is. But here's the thing. You can groan and be disappointed in him, but you will never be more disappointed in him than I am. Facts are facts. He does like much younger women. It's kind of like futons, right? Like you can, men in their 40s dating women in their 20s is like futons, because you could put that futon out on the side of the road and some 20-year-old's gonna pick it up and take it home. She's gonna put it in her apartment. She doesn't mind the dings and scratches. She doesn't care where it's been. Pays for dinner. She's fine. It's also like futons in that we all know it's happening, but no one's comfortable. It's fine. It's really okay. He can date much younger women. It actually gives us something that we have in common, because I can still give him parenting advice. So. We decided in February of 2020 that we were going to get a divorce. Do you guys remember March of 2020? Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, in February of 2020, we decided we could no longer stand to be in the same room together. And the universe was like, big fuck you. Yeah, you do. You got to stay in the same room together indefinitely. So we did it. We nested. That's what they call it. Nested for 9 months. We lived together after we decided to get a divorce, which was actually really good for us because it gave us a chance to remember that we like each other as people. He's a good person. I'm a good person. And we're really good parenting partners, right? And I have to say all of that nice stuff because it is part of our settlement agreement. So. You guys are going to have to sign something on your way out. Just say that I did it. We're good to go. I don't think that I could date somebody who's that much younger than me, and there's a couple of reasons, but the primary reason being I remember being in my 20s. Do you all remember being in your 20s? Yeah, you do. Were you as dumb as I was? Were you? I was so stupid in my 20s. I thought I knew everything there was to know about everything. I knew jack shit. I knew nothing. And the reason I can say that with confidence, because at one point, my husband looked at me. Yeah, he's my husband. And I'm living my best after wife. My husband looked at me as I said something to him. He stopped what he was doing. He turned and he looked at me and he said, "What did you just say?" And I said, "I don't understand where Alaska is in the ocean." And he said, and I said, "Well, it's on the map next to Hawaii." But I don't understand where it is in the ocean. Never mind, it has a very straight border with Canada, which is where it is, by the way, and is about a third of the size of our country. I thought, because it was on the map next to Hawaii, that Alaska was an island. Apparently, we did not have globes in northern Maine where I went to school. Because when I told him that, he said, "Ooh, you know what? It's probably best if you never, ever tell anyone that you thought that." I just told all of you. It's fun. Being in your 20s is rough. My mom actually saw a picture of my husband's current girlfriend on Facebook. You know what she said? She goes, "Oh, she's cute." My mom is so good. She's so nice. But then she followed it up with this, you guys. She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Mom, she is really cute." She goes, "Yeah, she is. You know what, though? She kind of looks like you at that age." What the fuck, Mom? You guys, my mom is a therapist. Welcome to my journey. Yeah, I wasn't very smart in my 20s. It's okay, because I did marry the right person, because at one point I had to explain to my ex-husband that free-range chickens are not homeless. Because that's what he thought. I was like, they have homes, but it was kind of funny in my head. I was like, what if they got into a fight with the farmer? They're like, "You're not my real dad!" Just stormed off on their little chicken legs. Got little chicken tattoos. On one little wing, it just says, "Mama tried." And on the other little wing, it just says, "Purdue grade A." Those are chickens. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I thought about being a cougar. Can't do it. I can't. A friend of mine was like, "I don't think you'd be a very good cougar." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, you're too kind. You're a little too nurturing to be a cougar." She said the average age gap between the cougar and her prey is approximately 25 to 30 years. Right? Gross. Because as you know, I have a 21-year-old son. Right? If you take my age, which by the way is 48. What? There it is. That was the right response. She understood the assignment. anytime any woman over the age of 40 tells you how old she is, that's the right response. We will also accept, no. Or, oh my God, look at your skin. We'll take any of that. Right? Am I right? We'll take any of those. Any of those will work for us. We'll take any of them. If you do the math and you take that 25 to 30 years age gap away from my 48 years on Earth, you find that that puts my prey between the ages of 18 and 23. Now you understand why it's so icky, because I do have that 21-year-old living with me at home, and I can honestly tell you there's no way I want to have sex with somebody that young. And the reason I know that is because in all the many years that my son brought his friends home to our house, not once did I look at them and go, yeah, that's a good idea. Nope. There's no way I want to have sex with someone that young. There is, however, a very good possibility that I would like to make him a sandwich. Because that's my love language. I told that joke at a late night bar in Manchester, New Hampshire. Just a room full of 20-something guys, and this one little cutie in the front row looks up at me and he goes, "What kind of sandwich?" I said, "Anything you want, I'll even cut off the crusts." It was very cute. Yeah, can't date a younger man. I thought about dating older men too, but I don't like to eat dinner at 4 p.m. And also not a fan of the Applebee's 2-for-1 special. Especially now that I've heard Doorknob's song. Not a fan. Don't love pudding. Don't love pudding. And if I wanted to watch baseball documentaries, I'd just hang out with my real dad. Yeah, right? Because he doesn't make me call him daddy, so. That's good. I have been dating since the divorce. It's weird. Now it's very different. I went out with a guy and I thought the date was going pretty well. When our server walked away, though, he looked at me and he said, "You don't look like the kind of woman who eats cheeseburgers." What does she look like? I don't know what she looks like. I know what I do look like, though. I look like the kind of woman who says she is going to the bathroom, but then just doesn't come back. She's adorable. I met a guy who had similar interests to me, enjoyed hiking. We both had dogs. I adopted a pit bull mix after my divorce. I think the Humane Society got a little confused because I spend an awful lot of time as an emotional support human to a very neurotic pit bull. It's okay. He likes to be outside. My significant other at the time liked being outside. We went out on a few dates with our dogs in the woods, and he said to me one day as we were walking, after not knowing each other for very long, said, I really appreciate how well you take care of yourself. You exercise a lot, you eat well, you're in really good shape for a woman your age. No. You see the mistake right there, right? You see it. Also, not the best place to insult a woman when you're out in the woods. Just so you know, not the best place to do that. And also, here's what I have also learned in my 48 years on Earth, and that is that people who are wearing Crocs, and I apologize to any of you, people who are wearing Crocs do not get to talk about the health and the fitness level of other people. It's not permitted. Also learned that Crocs are not biodegradable, because that's all they found out there in the woods. I'm kidding. I would never. I did go out on one really good date, though, post-divorce. This is where technology is different. The last time I dated, the person I married, had a pager. I know. This was pre-cell phones, 1998. Did not have a cell phone, had a pager. He was not a doctor or a drug dealer. Weird. So now we have like constant contact with each other, constant texts and Snapchat and all of it. We're like constantly contacting each other. And I just have a question for the ladies in the audience who are in the dating pool right now. And gentlemen too, you can weigh in if that's your thing. How do we feel about dick pics? Nope. Right? We get to a certain point in our lives where we're like, I don't really need to see that first thing in the morning. Right? And it's always first thing in the morning, right? Always first thing in the morning. Here's my thing, though. If you're going to send me a picture of sausage, it should be accompanied by a waffle and a mimosa. Because all I want to do is go to brunch. Right? That's what we want to do. We want to go to brunch. That's the thing we like. Not sausage first thing in the morning. I got a text from a guy who was like, hey, do you want to go do some day drinking? And I was like, heck yeah, I do. Didn't look all the way down at the bottom of the text. Again, technology getting in my way. The location happened to be a yoga studio. We were going to a Bend and Brew. Have you ever heard of that? You get drunk and do yoga. Guys, after an afternoon of day drinking, my mental and physical stability are not in the place for yoga. Okay? Poor decisions were made, and the only position that I mastered was the one-night stand. I know. He preferred the downward dog. In the end, we're both just like, namaste, single. I didn't stay single, actually. I just recently moved in with a person that I've been dating for quite some time. Mostly because his mom was getting kind of tired of his bullshit. Also, I really love him, so there's that. I know. I guess that's a better reason. I am finding some red flags now that we've been together for a while, though, and he's moved in with me, things I didn't notice before. I want you guys to weigh in. This one really weirds me out. He uses the decorative pillows to sleep on. This is a red flag, right, ladies? This is a red flag. We're not sure about this one. He uses the decorative pillows for sleeping. I don't love that. It's something I can overlook. Maybe it's a beige flag. We'll see. He also does not have a voicemail set up on his phone. You can't leave a message. How weird is that? And I understand, like, I've texted him 10 times today. We have a Snapchat stream that's going for like 3 weeks now. Instagram, constantly. Facebook Messenger. Everything else except for a voice message. And now you guys know my red flag. Because I have overwhelmed him with my interest. Here's the final red flag, and that is that I took him to Trader Joe's. Ladies, do you love Trader Joe's? It's like it's the middle-aged ladies' church, right? It is. Like, we love going to Trader Joe's. We love it. I love it. There's plenty of wine. This is how it's like church. Plenty of wine and dry crackers for all of us. I go more during the holidays. I try to get there every Sunday. Like, this is my church. I'm really good at Trader Joe's. I can get into the parking lot, into the store, buy flowers, wine, and food all within a half an hour if I go by myself. I took him to Trader Joe's with me for the first time. We were in there for an hour and 45 minutes. He picked up every package of JoJo's cookies that they have. At one point, he was gone for 20 minutes. I was ready to take a taller, better-looking significant other home with me because they're all over the place in there, right? They're all over the place. They're everywhere. He comes back. He has the biggest jar of pickles I've ever seen. The biggest jar of pickles I've ever seen. A jug of maple syrup and 3 bottles of wine. What crazy-ass plan does he have, you guys? Here's the last of the red flags. I woke up the other morning and he was just staring at me. That's sweet, right? He goes, "You're so peaceful while you're sleeping." Okay. And then he starts stroking my eyebrow. And he goes, "Your eyebrows are like comets shooting across your face." And I thought to myself, he's gonna murder me. He's gonna murder me. I'm gonna tell you one last story, and then I'm gonna let you guys meet your headliner for tonight. I feel like I lost you guys with the "I don't like babies," so I'll tell you a story about being an excellent parent. I feel like they should ask you a lot more questions at the hospital, right? When they give you a baby to take home and raise for the next 18 to 44 years. They should ask you more questions. They just ask you one. Do you have a car seat? That's all they want to know. Not, do you have a felony? which seems like a fairly important question to ask, right? Nope. Do you have a car seat? I did have a car seat. I did not know how to use it, and we walked home from Maine Medical Center. But a better question when you're about to have a baby in the hospital is, how long have you kept a betta fish alive? Right? Betta fish live in the wild, in puddles. They drink mud. They can live for years on their own. Something happens to them when you bring them into your house. Something terrible. Particularly my house. I have been able to keep a betta fish alive for only 8 years. It's impressive. It's also a lie. But if you see my son, please don't tell him. Here's what I did. Every time my son's betta fish would die, I would scoop it out of the bowl and I would flush it. And then I would tell him, this angel born to me on earth, that his betta fish had gone on vacation to Petco. Right? And after a week's time, I would take my son to Petco to pick his fish up from its vacation. Thank you. Thank you. We walked the aisles. I wouldn't remember what the fish looked like, but I knew he would, and he would pick out his fish. We would take it to the counter, and we would pay for its vacation. Yeah. The average cost of a betta fish vacation is $5.95. I don't know if you guys know this, but sometimes when betta fish go on vacation, they change color. Yep. Brought it home, plop it in the bowl, did the whole thing all over again for 8 years. And then when my son went to college, his freshman year, I said, baby, what do you want to take with you to make your dorm room feel more like home? And he said, a betta fish. Shit. I could have told him then. I could have just said, ooh, I don't know if you really want a betta fish, but I didn't. I helped him out. I took him to Petco. We bought him it's called a half moon betta fish. It was $29, y'all. Yep. Beautiful fish. Bought the whole shebang, everything he needed, all the food. He bought little things for enrichment that kept this fish entertained. I tell you all of this to let you know that he took very good care of this fish, very good care of this fish, and he kept it alive the entire school year. Right? Impressive. He brought it home to my house for summer break. 2 weeks and that fucking fish went on vacation. To my point, here is how I know they should ask you more questions at the hospital. Because when my son came to me distraught and said, Mama, I don't understand, we had the same betta fish for 8 years. I could have come clean, but I did not. I chose further deception and instead said to this beautiful child of mine, I don't know, baby, some people are just better at betta fish. I am a terrible parent, but an excellent liar. They should ask you more questions. I taught my son that lesson. I also convinced he and his entire preschool class of this lie, and that is that when the ice cream truck is playing its music, they are out of ice cream. You can use that one. It's very helpful. Thank you guys so much. It has been a blast. I have been Sarah Poulin. Thank you. Thank you very much.